Before we start the show, remember that Dave Smith Unleashed is brought to you by MTS. Call them at 800-640-6873 for reliable, on-time delivery, compliance you can count on, round-the-clock support, superior communication. It's only calling MTS at 800-640-6873, 800-640-6873. Welcome to another edition of Dave Smith Unleashed, and a heartfelt thank you to all of you who have subscribed and who listen to the show on a regular basis. And man, we're getting close to 2,500 subscribers already in fewer than 3 months, and all the views we're getting. So we appreciate all the support, and of course, we thank you in great ways. We give away Dodger tickets, and thanks to our great sponsor, MTS Transportations, we're giving away 4 tickets to the Rams-Cowboys game on August 9th. So once again, what do you do to win? Well, you have to be a subscriber. So go to youtube.com/@The Dave Smith Unleashed Podcast. youtube.com/The Dave Smith Unleashed Podcast. So you have to be a subscriber, give us a like, and give us a comment on our YouTube page. And every month we pick a winner, and this month's winner will be going to the Rams-Cowboys game on August 9th at SoFi Center. 4 seats right above the tunnel where the Rams come out. So that is one great prize pack, and who knows? It could be you, but you have to subscribe. All right, you know, we got such a great response when I put together my lists on the July 4th show of greatest athletes of all time, and you know, talking about Joey Chestnut and his great accomplishments in the hot dog eating contest, and putting lists together of LA's all-time greatest athletes. And I thought we'd do it again today, because you can't ever go wrong with lists, and people always love them. And we got such a great response. Again, all kinds of views and all kinds of new subscribers after that show. So I decided today, I'm putting together a list of the 10 greatest Lakers players of all time, and also the 10 greatest, most important Lakers. And by most important, that means players and executives, coaches, people involved in the organization, not only players. So let's start right now. We'll start from the bottom. In my opinion, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack on this, and I know I'm going to leave some people out, and I know some of you are going to disagree on where I place some of these players. Some should be higher, some should be lower, and I'm going to catch a lot of hell for this. So again, if you disagree, go to the comment section on the YouTube page, or else go to Twitter and follow me on @DaveSportsGod, @DaveSportsGod, and you can let me know how you feel about this. All right, without further ado, let's start with the 10 greatest players in Lakers history. Let's start, and again, is LeBron James one of the 10 greatest players in Lakers history? Yes. Now, he hasn't been here long, but he's the NBA's all-time leading scorer. He's won a championship. He's going to rewrite the record books, and when it's all said and done, LeBron will be the most accomplished player in NBA history. Not the best player, in my opinion, but the most accomplished when it comes to statistics and numbers, and with the as of this broadcast, 4 world championships. But since he's still playing, I don't like to put current active players in any of these lists, so we're going to leave LeBron out of the top 10 until he retires. Certainly he'll be there once his career is over. All right, number 10, for you old-timers out there. Now, I wanted to be him when I was a kid because I was left-handed. I loved basketball. I was a pretty good player. You know, I was the all-time leading scorer in my high school when I finished my career there. And I looked at Gail Goodrich, Stumpy, as the great Chick Hearn called him. 6 feet tall, little skinny white kid from Sun Valley, California, and that's where I grew up. So how in the world did he have a Hall of Fame NBA career, an All-American career at UCLA with 2 national championships, and a great high school player at Pauley High School in Sun Valley? How could a little skinny 6-foot white kid from Sun Valley, like me, of course, I didn't go on to be a college All-American or an NBA Hall of Famer, but he was kind of my inspiration when I was a kid. Gail Goodrich at 6 feet tall. Left-handed, great shooter. You know, I could shoot too, but unlike me, Gail Goodrich could get to the rim and finish. He could handle it, get to the rim, finish. Tough guy. Great shooter. You know, he was the Lakers' leading scorer on that 1971-72 championship team that won 33 straight games, and they won a then record 69 games. Coached by Bill Sharman, the first world championship as the Los Angeles Lakers. Boy, that was my team growing up. That's the first team I remember. I love that team. It wasn't Jerry West. It wasn't Wilt. It wasn't Elgin Baylor, who only played 6 games that year. The leading scorer at 26 points a game was Gail Goodrich on the 71-72 Lakers. So, boy, I wanted to be him. He was kind of a hero of mine because he's from, the area where I grew up. He was about my height. He was skinny like me. Good left-handed shooter. I can be him. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, but that's what I wanted to be. Number 9, also from the LA area, from Pasadena, California, Pasadena High School. One of the all-time great defensive players in NBA history, Michael Cooper. And also, earlier in his career, the Koopa Loop. And Norm Nixon and Magic used to throw him those great lob passes. Michael Thompson told me, the great Michael Thompson, the former Laker who I used to do a radio show with, he told me Michael Cooper was just as important as any Laker on the Showtime team. And that includes Magic, that includes Kareem, that includes James Worthy. He was just as important as any of them. Because he could score, he was a backup point guard, and arguably, is he the greatest defensive player in Lakers history? It's probably Wilt. But that's a short list. I would say Cooper is probably second. And one of the top 5 defenders I've ever seen in the history of the NBA is Michael Cooper. So he's at number 9. And I believe he's in the Hall of Fame now. So his banner will be up on the rafters at Staples Center. Number 8. Now, we'll get some argument here saying that he's way too low because he's one of the greatest players of all time. And Tommy Hawkins told me that Elgin Baylor was better than Michael Jordan. Is the greatest player in NBA history. He said Jordan couldn't handle the ball like Elgin. He couldn't shoot like Elgin. He couldn't finish at the rim like Elgin. He wasn't anywhere near the defender that Elgin was. This is Tommy Hawkins' opinion. Now, unfortunately, he was before my time. I never saw Elgin in his prime. Doug Krikorian told me Elgin might be the greatest player in NBA history when we had him on the show. So number 8 might be a little low, but did he win a championship as a Los Angeles Laker? Well, that 71-72 team, he only played 6 games before he retired, so he wasn't really a part of that team. Although he did get a ring, but magnificent career, one of the greatest players of all time. And yeah, you want to make a case that he should be higher than 8? I'm not going to argue with you, but I got Elgin at number 8. Number 7. In my opinion, the most underrated Laker of all time, and there's a good reason for it, because he played on the Showtime Lakers with Magic and Kareem. But was there a better small forward in the NBA outside of Larry Bird than James Worthy in the 80s on the Showtime Lakers? He might be the quickest 6'9" player I've ever seen. The spin moves left and right, the pull-up mid-range jumper. And how about the glide pattern? The Statue of Liberty thing when he'd go up and dunk on the fast break. He was a great player. Underrated, in my opinion. 4 world championships with the Lakers. And who knows? It should have been more. Remember, he got injured in 82-83 when the Lakers lost to that great Sixers team in the finals. 4 world championships, one of the most underrated players of all time. I'm going James Worthy at number 7 on my all-time greatest Lakers list. Number 6, I've been critical of him over the years. He should have been the greatest player in NBA history. He should have had more than 4 world championships. If he was serious about his conditioning and staying in shape, if he didn't eat so much, if losing killed him, if it killed him to lose, which it didn't, he should have been the greatest player of all time. Unfortunately, he wasn't. As dominant as he was as a low-post offensive player, he was not a dominant defender, and he was not a dominant shot blocker. So when you don't play both ends of the court, he calls himself the most dominant ever. I used to say on the air, he says it, the media prints it. That doesn't make it true. He was not the most dominant player. He was one of the most dominant low-post offensive players. But you got to play both ends of the floor. How many times did Shaq make the all-defensive team? 0. How many times did Shaq lead the league in rebounds? That would be another 0. How many times did Shaq lead the NBA in block shots? That would be 0 again. And to me, that's disgraceful. Somebody as big, strong, talented, and as athletic as him never once first-team all-defense, never once led the league in rebounds, never once led the league in block shots, and the reason is he was never in physical condition. The only time he was in shape as a Laker was that 99-2000 season, Phil Jackson's first year. Shaq got into great shape that season. He defended, he rebounded, he blocked shots. That was the best Shaq that there ever was as a Laker. And I didn't criticize him one time that year about his conditioning or anything. He was great that year, and he was the MVP. After that, it was fat Shaq again and not living up to his potential. But still, 3 championships as a Laker and dominant low-post offensive player. I got him at number 6. Number 5, he only won 1 championship, and he wasn't a Laker long. He was only there from 68 to 73, 5 years. But I got Wilt at number 5. Yes, he only had one championship. Shaq had 3, but Wilt was a better player than Shaq, without question. Now, there's the most dominant low-post offensive player of all time on Wilt, but he was just as dominant on the defensive end and just as dominant blocking shots. He was as good defensively as he was offensively, which puts him way ahead of Shaq, in my opinion. And had he been a Laker for a longer period of time, I think Wilt would have been much higher than 5, maybe number 1. But because only one championship and because he was briefly a Laker, I got him down at number 5, as great as he was. Number 4, well, the logo, Jerry West. I mean, only one championship, unfortunately. But you look how great he was as a player from 1960 to 1974 as a Laker. And then taking over as a general manager and being a great executive. And but this list right now was only as a player. And as a player, I got him at number 4. He's one of the greatest guards who's ever lived. I mean, the quickest first step you've ever seen and the best pull-up jumper you'll ever see in your life going to his right. It's just, but he'd pull up so quick, guys would be running past him when he went up for that jump shot. Jerry West was a great player. There's a reason he's the logo of the NBA, so I got him at number 4. Number 3, Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant, 5 world championships. Michael Jordan-like intensity and fire and getting after his teammates and the will to win and the work ethic. Incredible. You know, tragically passed away in that helicopter accident, but, thankfully for us Lakers fans, that was after his career was over, and we got to see all of Kobe, and Kobe at his greatest with the 5 world championships. Top 10 player of all time without question in NBA history. I got him at number 3 on the Lakers list. Number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, you could make a case that he's the greatest player of all time. Why? Well, he's the greatest high school player of all time. He's the greatest college player of all time. He was the all-time leading NBA scorer when he retired. He's a 6-time world champion, and I think it was, I'm just going off the top of my head here, with 7 MVPs or at least 6, I believe. Might be mistaken about that, but a lot of MVPs. And the greatest weapon, not only in basketball history, but in my opinion, the greatest in the history of sports, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook. And we came to the Lakers in 1975. It's one of the great trades in NBA history. And I'll tell you what, that turned everything around. And then the drafting of Magic in 79, and then the Lakers were on their way to Showtime and 5 world championships in the 80s. Number 1, who else? Who else but Earvin Magic Johnson? Even with Kareem in the late 70s, the Lakers weren't winning championships. But when this kid arrived from Michigan State with the big smile on his face and a 6'9" point guard like nobody had ever seen before, an unbelievable passer, unbelievable on the fast break, again, work ethic, the will to win, Magic Johnson's the greatest Laker of all time as a player. And I tell you what, I've got him number 1 on my all-time list as well. I know people argue with me, Michael Jordan. I know. And I'm not going to argue with you. You know, I think there's a list of Jordan, Bird, Magic, Kareem, Wilt, Bill Russell. You can make a case for any of them as the greatest player of all time, and I'm not going to argue with you. The greatest player I've ever seen in his prime was Earvin Magic Johnson. I've got him number 1. So obviously, I got him number 1 on the all-time Lakers great players list. All right, now let's go to the most important Lakers of all time, and that includes executives and people who didn't play for the team. This one's just as important as well. Number 10, and I'm gonna have the players lower on this than the executives. Number 10, Kobe, of course, for obvious reasons. We just went over that. Not only important as a player, but I mean, for sales and attention and branding. I mean, my goodness. And, you know, the cult of Kobe in L.A., he might be the most popular Lakers player of all time. So I get him number 10. Number 9, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. we stated it on the greatest players list. Well, him coming to the Lakers in 75 kind of helped turn the whole thing around with the Lakers franchise. So Kareem, with the greatest weapon in the history of sports. Number 8, Magic Johnson. I mean, what a difference he made when he came to the Lakers in 79, of course, and we talked about it on the Lakers' greatest players list with the big smile and the charisma and the passing ability. And the NBA games, even the finals were on tape delayed at 11:30 at night back when he and Larry Bird came into the league. They saved the league by themselves. So, of course, Magic's on this list. Now we get into the more executive side of things. Number 7 on the most important Lakers of all time. Now, you're probably going to say, Dave Smith, who the hell is that? I've never heard of him. Bob Short, S-H-O-R-T. Well, why is he on the list? Well, I'll tell you why. Bob Short was the owner of the Minneapolis Lakers, who'd won 5 world championships in the 50s with the great George Mikan. And the reason Mikan isn't on my all-time top 10 list is because I'm going by LA Lakers on my list. Certainly, if it's Lakers as a franchise, Mikan would have been on there. Bob Short was the owner of the Minneapolis Lakers who decided to move the franchise to Los Angeles. So what's more important than that? We wouldn't have had a Los Angeles Lakers without Bob Short. He made the decision to move here, to move to Los Angeles. So absolutely Bob Short belongs on this list. What an important piece of Lakers history. And somebody nobody ever talks about, unfortunately. Number 6, now, you can make a great case for this gentleman being number 1. How important was he to all of us from, 1960 to the early 2000s when he, unfortunately passed away in his late 80s. But Chick Hearn, I mean, has there ever been a more important member of the Lakers organization? He painted the narrative. Everybody loved Chick. Chick was the Lakers. I couldn't remember a time without him when I was growing up. The greatest basketball announcer I've ever heard. The way he would make up stories while the game was going on. I remember one time the Lakers were playing the 76ers, and Maurice Cheeks had the ball, and he was right in front of Pat Riley on the bench, dribbling. And Chick says, Maurice Cheeks, dribbling like a yo-yo. He's in front of Pat Riley. He turns and says, Riles, I like the hairstyle. Oh, my God. And he says, Kareem's arguing for a foul. The ref says, shut up, Kareem. Just keep those goggles clean. And this is during the game. He didn't skip a beat. Remember, I was having, the game's going on. I was having breakfast with Wilt this morning, and he ordered an orange juice. He said, bring me a big one. And the waiter came back with a glass, and he said, what's this? I said, a big one. I can go on and on. But he wouldn't skip a beat while the action was going on, telling these funny stories. So, Chick, you can make a case for a number 1. People are going to argue with me, I think, about him being 6. Number 5, well, we just talked about the hairstyle. Pat Riley, the Irishman from Schenectady, New York. And the reason I only have him at number 5, yes, the 4 world championships as a head coach, but he kind of lucked into a really good situation. He was in the broadcast booth with Chick as an analyst. Then, unfortunately, Jack McKinney, who was the coach of the rookie Magic Johnson Lakers team in 79-80, he fell off his bicycle on the way to play tennis on an off day. I think he only coached the Lakers for 5 or 6 games and cracked his skull and almost died and had to sit out the rest of the year. So they pulled Pat Riley out of the broadcast booth. Paul Westhead was elevated to head coach. The Lakers won the world championship. And then Dr. Buss made the decision the next year after Jack McKinney had recovered. I always thought McKinney should have had a chance to get his job back, but Dr. Buss made the decision to make Pat Riley the head coach. And at first it was going to be Riley and Jerry West co-coaching, but then it was Pat Riley as the coach. And then from there, he became a great coach. 4 championships with the Lakers, took the Knicks to the finals, won another couple with the Miami Heat. But again, he kind of lucked into a great situation. Your first head coaching job, you've got Kareem in his prime, you've got a young Magic in his prime, you've got James Worthy, Norm Nixon, Byron Scott. He had a hell of a team he inherited, taking nothing away from his ability as a coach. So I got him at number 5. Number 4, Phil Jackson is one of the most important Lakers of all time. You look, the Lakers in the between 94 and 99 when Phil got there, they had a really good team. They had a lot of talent. What they didn't have was a coach. They had Del Harris and Kurt Rambis coached them for a while. But when they brought in Phil Jackson, that was the difference. And in my opinion, those 3 championships the Lakers won between 2000 and 2002 with Shaq and Kobe, they wouldn't have won any of them had Phil Jackson not been the head coach. He brought in discipline. He brought in the triangle offense. He brought in a whole new system of basketball. And that turned everything around for the Lakers. And you know what? You could make a case. I think the Lakers probably had more talent on the team before Phil got there. Yeah, they had Shaq, they had Kobe, they had all kinds of great players. But they also had Eddie Jones and Eldon Campbell and Nick Van Exel. I think they had more talent on those teams with Shaq and Kobe, but they didn't have the coaching. Phil, the greatest coach in NBA history with his 11 championships, took that team to the next level. You can't give him enough credit. Yeah, unfortunately, who took the fall for that was Jerry West, who wound up losing his job because Phil was there. But Dr. Buss had to make a decision. Phil hated Jerry West for some reason. They didn't get along. They didn't like each other. And it was all Phil. It wasn't Jerry West despising Phil Jackson. It was Phil despising Jerry West and wanting to take over. And he didn't want West around. And Dr. Buss tried and tried. He got them both into his office. He said, you guys got to get along. You know, Jerry, you run the personnel. Phil, you coach the team. But Phil would not stand for it. So Dr. Buss had to make a decision, either Phil or Jerry West, and he chose Phil. You know, mainly, probably a lot of it was because Phil was dating his daughter, Jeannie. But as hard as it is to say, for those of us who love Jerry West, I think Dr. Buss made the right decision. Because if he got rid of Phil and kept Jerry West, I don't think they would have won. And I don't think they would have won those three. Or the last two. So, as much as I like Jerry West, I think Dr. Buss made the right decision. Phil Jackson is the greatest coach in NBA history. Number 3. Well, we just mentioned, and you could also make a great case for him being number 1, Dr. Jerry Buss. What can you say? He brought Showtime to Los Angeles. He brought the Laker girls to Los Angeles. He brought the USC band to Los Angeles. He opened up the Forum Club, which became the hottest club in the entire city, the hardest club to get into. I was in there a couple of times with the most beautiful women. And I could never get in. But remember the great pool player, the Black Widow, Jeanette Lee? She was beautiful, and I had her on my show a couple of times. So then I happened to be standing outside the Forum Club one night, and she was in line ready to go in with her pass. And she said, hey, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I can't get in. This is an exclusion. They'll never let me. She said, oh, you're my guest. And she did that a couple of times and got me in, which was fantastic. And once I was inside, I've never seen a scene like that in a club, the Forum Club. So Dr. Buss brought that. How about 10 world championships as an owner? None of it would have happened without him. The greatest owner in the history of professional sports, in my opinion. So, is he too low at number 3? Maybe. You can make a great case for him at number 1. Absolutely. Number 2. Here's somebody, you talk about short shrift, Bill Sharman. Bill Sharman was the coach of the 71-72 Lakers that brought Los Angeles our first NBA World Championship. 33 straight wins that year. 69 wins, an all-time NBA record. He made Wilt the captain of the team, and this might have been his greatest accomplishment. He actually talked Wilt into joining the shoot-arounds in the morning on game days. Wilt hated getting up early. Wilt would sleep till noon every day. He was out partying, chasing skirts all night. Wilt didn't like getting up early. But Bill Sharman met him in Marina del Rey when he first got the job. He made Wilt the captain, and then he made him think. He was a master manipulator. He made Wilt think it was his idea to start the shoot-arounds. That was a stroke of genius. But look at his track record. Look at Bill Sharman's track record. As coach, winning a world championship in 72 with the all-time winning professional sports winning streak that still stands. But how about he built the Showtime Lakers? Now, a lot of people in the media say Jerry West built the Showtime Lakers. He did not. Jerry West didn't take over as GM until 1982. Who made the trade for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 75? General manager Bill Sharman. Who made the deal trading Don Ford to the Cleveland Cavaliers for a future number 1, which turned out to be James Worthy? Who made that trade? That was Bill Sharman. Who allowed Gail Goodrich to go to the New Orleans Jazz as a free agent, getting a number 1 pick as compensation? And that number 1 pick turned out to be Earvin Magic Johnson. So Bill Sharman made the deals that got Kareem, Magic, and Worthy to the Lakers. He built the Showtime Lakers. There's no Showtime without him. And why his banner isn't up in the rafters at SoFi Center is a disgrace. And only the Lakers organization can answer for that. He's in the Hall of Fame as a player and as a coach and as an executive. And the Lakers have always told me, you can't be up in the rafters and have your jersey retired unless you're in the Hall of Fame. Well, he's in the Hall of Fame twice. Why isn't he up there? What did he do to deserve this kind of treatment? You can make a great case for him being number 1. All right, let's get to number 1. Who else? The logo, Jerry West. One of the greatest players in NBA history, and also one of the greatest executives in NBA history. Now, he did not build the Showtime Lakers. He shouldn't get credit for that, but he kind of put the pieces around the Showtime Lakers, and he made some good deals putting pieces around the big 3 that Bill Sharman brought in. But when it comes to the Shaq Kobe era, that is all Jerry West, baby. Trading Vlade Divac to the Charlotte Hornets for Kobe, and then getting Shaq to come as a free agent in 1996. I mean, he built the Shaq Kobe. Jerry West gets 1,000% credit for that. One of the great jobs of personnel in the history of the NBA. So Jerry West, number 1. Okay, so in the remaining minute we have left here, let's go over the top 10 of both lists again. As players, Gail Goodrich, Michael Cooper, Elgin Baylor, James Worthy, Shaq, Wilt, Jerry West, Kobe, Kareem, Magic. now his all-time most important Lakers, including executives. Kobe, Kareem, Magic, Bob Short, Chick Hearn, Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, Dr. Jerry Buss, Bill Sharman, and Jerry West. So let me know what you think about this list. Hit me up on Twitter @DaveSportsGod, or make sure to subscribe and comment there what you think about this list. Go to youtube.com @The Dave Smith Unleashed Podcast. YouTube.com @The Dave Smith Unleashed Podcast. Let me know what you think. And always keep up with me on Twitter @DaveSportsGod. I'm always posting when the next show is going to be, what the topic is going to be. So we'll talk to you next time on Dave Smith Unleashed.